What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This gonna be your growing up hip hop season 4, episode 9. Now here's the thing. I gotta do episode 10 too. So this is an older one, but I told y'all I was behind. This is one of the shows I was behind on. But I don't really like combining unless I really, really kinda have to, because I feel like I lose stuff when I try to combine the two shows together. But we're gonna try to get it done. But I mean, we're doing it separate. Anyway, y'all know what I'm saying. So, okay, we start this episode off with Brianna and Dame Dash having a conversation about Boogie. And, Dame is saying, look, Brianna, I really appreciate what you did for my son. Like, you basically saved my son's life. It was your idea to do the intervention. It seemed to work out. He went to rehab. And even though he's not really speaking to me right now, he's alive. And I believe that Dame's feelings are a little hurt. I mean, you could tell his feelings he's in his feelings a little bit about the fact that Boogie's not speaking to him and hasn't reached out to him. But I think he's very appreciative of the fact, though, that Boogie did go get help. Like, in that moment, it's kind of not about him. And then he goes on to talk about the premiere of his movie is coming up, and Boogie did the music for the movie, and that Boogie should be there. Even if he mad at him, he should be there because it's an accomplishment. And it is, and he should. Putting all that aside, like, that's a major accomplishment that you did music for a movie, whether it's an independent movie or not. Like, if you're doing music, that's definitely something to be proud of and something to celebrate. Especially if now you're sober and all that great stuff. You should be able to be around your dad. And I get that Boogie has some issues that he needs to sort out with his dad. That's not about the intervention, because he's not mad at Brianna. So it's not about the intervention. Their issues clearly are deeper, and their issues are clearly about something else. Now, some other things that have been coming up in comments that I've either read on other people's reviews or in my comments, where people kind of having a problem with Brianna and Dame Dash having this relationship. I don't see the problem with it. I have friends who can call my parents. But my brother's passed away. He's been gone 6 years now, and some of my brother's friends still call my parents to check in on them and just see how they're doing and how things are going, and that kind of thing. Growing up, my parents were real active in the community, and like, my mother was a Girl Scout leader and stuff like that. And so my friends always have relationships with my parents. And I've even had friends whose parents would reach out to me when they're like, "What's going on? So and so's acting a little bit funny. Are things good?" Especially when I was away in college, and we were not with our parents every day underneath our parents' guidance. It happened, and I don't see the problem with it, especially since they're not doing anything inappropriate. They're not having inappropriate conversations. Like, they're talking about Dame, and there's been a few times where Brianna has opened up to and they're talking about Boogie, I mean, and it's been a few times where Brianna has opened up to Dame, but it's been about her attitude, her trying to grow, her trying to be a better person, which I think Brianna wants to be. Brianna's a bitch, but Brianna knows that she's a bitch. I think that Brianna doesn't know how to not be a bitch sometimes. Like, I think she goes from 0 to 100 before and by the time she realizes that she's already at 70. I do think she's trying. I do. I think there's certain people she doesn't try with. But I think overall, as a person, she's trying to be better. Now, there's certain people she could give two rats ass about, and I don't think she cares how she comes off to them. But generally speaking, I do think she's trying to do better. Then we see Romeo and Christina having a conversation, and they just catching up, shooting the shit. She's telling Romeo she's moving to Vegas and that she's gotten in touch with her cousin, and it's a real cousin this time, and that they're trying to have like a little relationship, and she invites him to come to Vegas to visit, and he was like, I'll try. Romeo has a lot going on, so I don't think he can really commit, but he's like, yeah, I'll try. Who don't want to go to Vegas, right? Who don't want to have a good time in Vegas? And then we see Pep and TT. They're at Pep's house, and they're talking about going to Vegas to visit Christina. They done planned a party bus and all kinds of stuff to go down there. And y'all know Pep. Pep thinks she's 20. So she all ready to go to Vegas and have a good time and party hardy hardy. Then TT says, and thanks for letting me use your house for my event next week. Pep was like, what? And TT was like, yeah, I asked you. You said I could do it. And Pep was like, hold up. You know me. You know good and damn well I don't remember you asking me that. You asked me at a moment where you knew I wasn't paying attention, when you knew I didn't know what you were saying, and now you've committed my house to something and I don't even know what's going on. And TT was like, okay, maybe I did try to slide it under the radar, but I'm a brand ambassador for this. It's basically a concierge service for getting your hair done. That's basically what it is. You can get your weaves done, you can get all this stuff done, and they'll come to your house to do it. You don't have to actually go to a salon. So her thing was, I can't really have this event at a salon because the whole purpose of the service is to you not to have to go to a salon. I need to do it at home, and I don't have one. And so I want to do it here because basically this is where I live. And Pep's thing is, I just don't want to feel like you taking advantage of me. I don't want to feel like you trying to get one over on me. Like, you know me, and you know me well enough to know how you need to bring things to me. And I see her point on that, but at the same time, I mean, she did ask. Is it really her fault that you wasn't paying attention to what you were saying yes to? Well, I mean, what if she was asking you if she could, like, move somebody into the house? Like, and then people showed up with luggage, and you was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But she asked. She did ask. But anyway, they worked it out, and Pep was like, you know what? Don't do that shit again. The next time you need something as serious as using my home, sit down, have a conversation with me face to face, and make sure that I know what's going on, and I understand what's going on, and I know the situation. She was like, because I don't really like that, and I don't like how that went down, and you know better. But, you know, Titi knew what she was doing. She knew what she was doing. So then we see the Simmonses. We see JoJo, Vanessa, and Angela. And Angela and JoJo get ready to go back to New York. They were just coming out. So I'm feeling like this season is winding down because they're headed back to New York. And JoJo was like, yeah, you know, I'm going, you know, because I was wondering if JoJo was still with his girlfriend, the mother of his child. But they actually talk about her, and they are still together. And she was saying how, you know, JoJo was saying how things are kind of, you know, for the first couple of years he was home. He was in New York. He wasn't really, I guess, working outside of New York. I don't know what he was doing to make money, but whatever it was local. And he's saying now he's starting to get these opportunities where he's like this. Like, I don't know how long he was filming in California, but he clearly was gone for a significant amount of time to film the show. And he was saying, you know, I'm making money. Like, she appreciates the fact that I'm making money, but she ain't really happy about the fact that I'm away as much as I've been away these last, you know, couple of months or whatever. And so then Vanessa gonna bring up, so when you gonna marry her? Now, Vanessa, ain't you the same person that's been living with your boyfriend for like 5 years? Y'all done had a baby. Y'all baby in school. And you asking him if he gonna marry his baby mama. You gonna marry your baby daddy? Which, of course, Angela turned around and said to Vanessa, like, well, are you gonna marry your boyfriend? And, you know, Vanessa was like, of course, of course. Yeah, they flipped it right back on you, didn't they? But anyway, it was a good little scene to see the siblings just kind of talking and kicking it. They ain't talking about nothing deep. Of course, JoJo starts clowning Angela about the whole Romeo thing. And Angela's like, you know, I kind of think I might be ready to date, but I ain't really looking at Romeo like that. At least not right now. They're still doing this flirt thing, but I don't think it's serious. Like, I don't think that Angela and Romeo are seriously trying to really be a couple. Like, I really don't. I could be wrong. But I think Romeo is just too much of a player for Angela. Like, Romeo likes to play. Romeo likes to be out there and party and stuff. And I don't think that's really who Angela is anymore. I mean, she's got her son, and that's really her first priority. And I don't think she was ever a big partier. Now, mind you, I don't know this girl from a hole in the wall. But you never saw her doing the Kardashian thing, and you never saw her always at every single event. You saw her out there, but she wasn't like that. You know what I mean? But anyway. But they were talking, and so Angela and JoJo are headed back to New York. So that's why I say I feel like the season's starting to wind down. Then we see Kendall and Egypt Chris hanging out. Now, Kendall is Christinia's cousin. So I guess they're introducing her into the show. I don't know if she's going to fully be on the show next season or what. But she actually had a scene without Christinia. Her and Egypt Chris seem to be building some sort of a relationship. They're close in age. And, you know, really, Egypt hasn't really had anybody to really be with in her age group, on the show. She's kind of, she's been there, but she's the youngest. She's the baby. I mean, she's not even 21 yet. Because every time there's a drinking scene, she has to have non-alcoholic beverages. And so, but they were talking, and it seems like they're hitting it off, and they're kind of becoming friends. And she invites her to TT's hair event, and she's like, "Of course, I'll be there." But what's funny is Kendall is younger, but she's married, and she was talking about how her husband is, they're shopping or whatever. And she was like, "Girl, my husband wouldn't let me wear this dress, girl." But they look like they were having a really good time. But the big thing, of course, is Christina doesn't really want her sister to spend a lot of time with Brianna for obvious reasons. She was like, "I don't want her to get caught up with Brianna. She was like, because if Brianna starts dogging her out or disrespecting her, then we're going to have a bigger problem. Hold on. Because they don't get along. So, and of course, Brianna's going to be at the hair event. So they're going to have this little dun dun dun. Because Christina can't come because she's, moved to Vegas. Master P and Romeo. They just having some father-son time. They bonded. I like their relationship. I think they have a really genuine father-son relationship. And they're talking about the whole situation with his mom. And with Romeo, later on, him and TT are out. I don't know if it's a date or they just out to lunch together, but let's just say it's a friend date situation. A friendly date situation. But in both scenes, they're talking about family and the importance of family, and they're talking about the situation with his mother. And he was like, no matter how bad things got between my dad and my mom, he always encouraged me to maintain a relationship with my mother, because at the end of the day, she's my mom. I don't get another one. And his thing was, the whole situation with my mom in a nutshell was, when her and my dad divorced, people got in her ear telling her she's supposed to have this and she's supposed to have that, and there's more money out there and she need to go get it, and lawyers got involved, and it just got to be a mess. And it put Romeo in the middle, because like I said, I believe, if I'm wrong, correct me, Master P put some stuff in Romeo's name. I don't know if it was to protect him from the divorce or what, but he put stuff in Romeo's name. So then, of course, the mom sued Romeo because she felt like those were assets that weren't counted into what she was supposed to get in the divorce settlement. So it got really nasty. It got to be a lot, and it got really nasty. But he actually opened up to TT about it. And, of course, TT took it as, oh, he's just really opening up to me. And now I could see Romeo and TT hooking up before I could see him and Angela hooking up. Like, Romeo, you can't hook up with Angela until you're ready to get married. Like, that's not no play thing. Whereas I think TT is more in the dating. Like, I'm not saying she's to be played with either, but I think she's got more flirting, more dating, more playtime than where Angela is with it. But anyway, they went out on a little, like I said, it was a little friend date situation, And they seemed to have a good time. They talked, they had a good time, they flirted, all that good stuff. Who knows where that's going, if it's going anywhere, if it's just for the show, if it's real. I don't know. But they're cute. TT got on my nerves last season because I felt like she was real messy, but I like her a little bit more this season. I think she's showing us a little bit more of who she is this season. And we see Brianna and Boogie talking, and they do like a little flirt thing. I don't know if Boogie means it or not. Like, I don't know if he's starting to see Brianna a little bit differently and, as somebody to flirt with. But they had a little flirt moment. And she tells him about the premiere and how his dad wants him to come and how he should come, because it's his music and he should come and allow his music, and see see his hard work come to fruition. Yeah, I really have a great vocabulary. I don't know why I be fucking up in these videos, but I really do have a good vocabulary. And Boogie's thing is, I don't care about that music. Like, it is what it is. I guess he probably ain't even get paid for it. Let's be real. He probably didn't get paid. But he was like, I don't care about that music. But Brianna was like, look, I think you really need to come. But we'll see. Boogie said that the thing with his dad, he said he's really trying to not be around people who are not bringing positive things into his life. And he said, my dad is a trigger for me. And that's valid. When you're an addict and you're trying to deal with your addiction, And that tells me that he really did go through some sort of therapy, because that's one of the things that you learn. You learn about your triggers and what your triggers are, and to stay away from those triggers. And those triggers are different depending on who you are. Some people, I told you guys this in a video before, some people can stop cold turkey and never pick it up again, depending on what their motivation is, depending on what their real reason, like that addiction, what that addiction was really about to begin with. Then you have other people, a trigger for them might be like, I don't want to tell nobody's business, but a family member, every time they left this area, they left the DC area, they would clean, and they could stay clean. The minute they would come back home, boom, relapse. So this area, for whatever the reason was, whatever, it was a trigger for them. So what they had to do was to stay away. Now they could come and visit. You know what I mean? They could come and visit. They stayed close enough that they could get back and see the family and spend time with the family, come back on holidays, but no extended visits. And they stayed where they stayed. They moved away and they stayed there. So if he feels like his dad is a trigger for him, then that's what he's going to have to figure out, how he can have his father in his life and it not trigger him wanting to go get a drink or go get high after he have a conversation with his father. And that's what Brianna is going to have to understand. I believe her intentions are pure. She's coming from a good place. But I believe that her reasoning, but I believe she's going to have to listen to Boogie and understand what Boogie's telling her, that my father is a trigger for me. So then we have TT's hair event, and it went well. It looked like it was like a hair bar where they were getting their hair done, and they were showing how it worked with the them coming in and then bringing their own things into y'all. Like I said, it's just an at-home salon. It's just a concierge salon service, but it was nice. And Kendall was there and Brianna was there, and they were able to actually have a conversation. Kendall found out that Brianna found out that Kendall was Christinia's cousin, but to Brianna's defense, she did not throw no shade. She didn't take it out on her. She didn't give her no side looks. She was just like, "Oh, Christinia's your cousin? And she kept it moving, and she continued to have a conversation and was cool. So it worked out. Like, again, I don't know if they're introducing Kendall for the purposes of like next season, because I don't know how many more episodes are left in this season. But I feel like they're kind of winding it down. I feel like it's maybe about 3 or 4 more episodes left this season. But the hair bar went really well. Egypt Chris was one of the models and all that good stuff. So it went really well. It seemed to go pretty good. We see Angela's back in back in New York, talking to her mom, and she's telling her mom that she thinks that, she might be ready to date. She might be ready to put herself back out there again. And that now she's back in New York. She said, when she was in LA, it was a good distraction. But now that she's back in New York, she really has to figure it out and figure out what it is she wants to do. She's got to find a school for the baby, all that motherhood stuff. And her mom is like, look, don't rush into nothing. You need to just be able to just do you, spend some time, do what you do. Like, don't stress yourself, don't rush into nothing. Her mom was just basically telling her, just chill out, take your time. And shout out to her mom. I saw on Instagram that her mom just got her PhD. So shout out. Congrats on that. That's like a major accomplishment. Her mother is in education. And so shout out for her getting her PhD. We see where TT and Tyran have a little conversation. They're reflecting back on the therapy. He thinks it's a good start. It's not, obviously he doesn't expect miracles, but he thinks it's a good start. He said his mom invited him to come to the premiere for Dame's movie, and so he thinks that's a pretty good move. And he said he's just taking baby steps. He ain't expecting his mama to change overnight, but just baby steps. So I think that's good. Then we get to the premiere. Dame late for the premiere. Pepper late for the premiere. We expect Pepper to be late, but Dame late for his own premiere. it didn't look like it was that many people at the premiere. Like, I don't know if this was like a special viewing or if this was like the main premiere. And again, it's an independent film, but it looked like it was a real low key type premiere. But everybody's there except for Boogie. Of course, Boogie don't come. Um, when Boogie shows up, he kind of give Pep the little side hug, and he hugs her and keeps it moving. And of course, Pep wants to have a conversation with him about the whole Boogie thing. Look, that's not the time nor the place for it. First of all, Dame ain't really trying to have that conversation with you. And two, even if Dame was trying to have that conversation with you at the premiere for his movie, really ain't the time for it. Like, call him up, go to his house. Like, y'all can still do a scene, but invite him out to lunch. Call him up, go to his house, do something. But doing this 5 minutes before the premiere of his movie, he ain't about to do that with you, Pep. He ain't about to do it. And that's kind of where this episode ends. You know, next week it's going to pick up with the actual premiere, I guess, to see how everything falls out. We get to see Kendall's husband. She brings her husband to the premiere, so we meet him. Eazy-E's son is there. It looks like he's getting ready to do something. I think he's going to go on tour or something like that. So they were talking about he's got that going on. Of course, Brianna's there. Brianna and Vanessa have a conversation where Brianna pulls Vanessa aside and says, look, you know, it's come to my attention that you kind of feel like I was kind of side-eyeing you a little bit and kind of being a little standoffish. And she was like, you know what? I probably was. That's how I am. I can be that way sometime. It's not personal. I apologize. But me and you, we cool. And Vanessa was like, well, I appreciate you coming to talk to me because, yeah, I was kind of feeling some kind of way because I thought me and you were cool. But then I felt like you was kind of giving me the little cold shoulder. So, thank you for talking to me and we good. And that's just kind of how that went down. So we're going to see next week if Boogie shows up. He might show up at the last minute, make a grand entrance or whatever. And we'll see how it go down. But that's the episode, so, I need to watch that episode and then review that. And then I'll be caught up with Growing Up Hip Hop. All right, y'all. Peace. Have a good one.